David Elo. This is BHF Foundation. Like I've always said, we just want to remind ourselves that BHF Foundation is a government registered foundation that is set up to handle the issue of drugs, cultism, teenage pregnancy, and all social vices. We've seen what is going on now. That is a terrible, like I've always said, I will keep saying it in this program. There's a terrible increase of drug addiction. Terrible increase. I mean, a search was carried out some time ago where they discovered that some students that were coming to the hostels, most of them female students also were coming in with different kind of drugs. I don't want to mention the name of the university, different kind of drugs. So there's a terrible inflow of drugs. I don't know what is going on. I don't know what we can do apart from talking about it on a daily basis so that people will know the severity of the situation. And I want the government to declare a state of emergency on issue of hard drugs, drug abuse. Close to 80% of the students that were coming into school, when they search them, they just decide to carry out a search before they enter the hostel. They normally don't search them, but they just say, okay, let's just carry out a search. And they discover that 80% of them came with drugs. So it's gradually becoming a lifestyle that must be stopped, that must be aborted. We must speak against it, we must talk about it, we must reject it, we must make it, we must declare it and say it's unacceptable. And so the government has to fight it now before it becomes a national emergency. The government has to fight the inflow of drugs, the consumption of drugs. Nigeria is becoming a major consumer of drugs. And our youthful population is being destroyed by drug addiction. You see how pathetic, how sad, how painful it is. I just received the statistics from an elderly person who sent me the statistics today through his WhatsApp. And I saw it's terrible. It's terrible. So I just feel like reminding us again that drug addiction is much now. Please, parents have a lot of role to play. Parents, please check your children, check their behavior, the kind of things. It's now time for children to check, for parents to pay attention to their children. It's not just the government alone now. It's a national issue. The youths are being left alone. The parents are not showing interest about their children anymore. And this is where part of the crisis is. The level of drug addiction now is much. And I just said they carry out a search in one of the higher institutions. They carry out a search and they discovered that 80% of the students that were coming to the hostel, they have drugs, hard drugs, in their luggages. 80%. Can you imagine? The people that were coming, I won't tell you the name of the higher institution. They just carry out a search, a random search. And they discovered that 80% of them came with drugs, all kinds of drugs. And so the drug is gradually destroying the youthful population. Nigeria is gradually becoming a consumer of drugs. It's pathetic, it's sad. We have to do something about it. We don't need to be quiet. Because if we keep quiet about it, our youths are being destroyed on a daily basis. The consumption of drugs is destroying our youth population, and so we need to stop it. But what gave rise to it? I've spoken with youths, most of them, and the rest. That tells you it's a reflection of the kind of frustration that Nigerians are going through, and Nigerians have decided to use drug as a way out of the frustration from extremely bad governance. Today we are celebrating, or rather, we are mourning, and also they've named the University of Maiduguri after the former President Muhammadu Buhari. They've named that over the former President Muhammadu Buhari. And you ask yourself, let's take an history of 8 years of Muhammadu Buhari in government. As of today now, the Nigerians have spent over $21 billion on the NNPC that they are trying to privatize now. We spent $21 billion on NNPC, and yet it's not working. And the man who heads the NNPC, who was president and at the same time Minister of Petroleum, was Muhammadu Buhari. Unfortunately, Muhammadu Buhari is dead now, so they cannot ask him how he spent the money. Because he spent so much money. Muhammadu Buhari was the Minister of Petroleum. He had the two positions, the Minister of Petroleum and also the President of Nigeria. And so the question we want to ask now, the question we should have asked, but he is not alive anyway now, is to ask what did he do with the money? How did they spend the money? Now they are talking about doing audits. The ADC said they should do audits so that we can be able to know how they spent Nigerian money, $21 billion during Muhammadu Buhari's regime on an NNPC that is not working. How much does it take to build a new refinery? That's what they spend on the refinery, and they tell you that the refinery is not working. It was in this government that they keep promising the refinery will soon work. The refinery will soon. Buhari was the president and Minister of Petroleum. When they keep saying the refinery will work, in 2 weeks' time, it's technically working. All those were lies from government officials under the watch of former President Buhari. That were lies, manipulation to deceive the public. This is how they siphoned $21 billion. We don't know where it went to. Like I said, unfortunately, we cannot go back now and begin to inquire and ask Buhari what happened to the money. But we can also carry out an audit and search for and ask his friends, those who were there. We have Minister of States that continue, Ebe Kachuku and the rest, the Minister of States and the rest. They should investigate and find out how Buhari spent $21 billion on fixing NNPC that is not working. And the question is how much of fixing Nigerian refinery, and the refinery is still not working. The question right now is how much does it take to build another refinery? That Muhammadu Buhari spent over $21 billion working on the refinery and it's still not working. The only thing they were saying there was lies and lies. They lied throughout his regime. And so they are doing everything possible right now to paint him as a statesman. Why don't we face the truth in Nigeria? Nigeria will continue to suffer like this until we learn to tell ourselves the truth and we hold people accountable. People must be accountable and made public. This kind of thing does not happen anywhere in the world. You should be held accountable. Carry out an investigation and find out how Buhari spent $21 billion on NNPC refinery that is not working. As we are talking right now, the refinery is not working. But he spent $21 billion to fix it. What did Buhari do with the money? Where did the money go to? Now you are naming university, naming this, naming that. For what? What is the reason for it? How come the leaders keep taking the citizens for a fool? How come our leaders keep taking us for a fool? What happened to the refinery? I will keep saying it again and again. They should carry out an investigation so we can have a clear understanding of what happened to our refinery, that our refineries are not working after Buhari has spent 21 billion naira trying to fix the refinery. The NNPC refinery in Warri, NNPC refinery in Port Harcourt, Kaduna, the three refineries are not working. And the government under Buhari spent $21 billion, not naira. And so what we try to do right now is to shift the consequences of the mismanagement of our resources. They try to shift the consequences on the people. That's what Nigerians are suffering today now. Government officials, the politicians will steal money and Nigerians will pay the price for it. That is what is going on. They will steal money and they will shift the consequences to Nigerians to pay the price for the money they've stolen. So Nigerians will continue to suffer while the politicians continue to steal money. I don't want to narrow it to APC alone, but the PDP and the APC are the biggest mistake that ever happened to Nigeria. And even the APC is worse. Since the APC came to power, Nigerians have never recovered. Since the APC came to power, Nigerians have never recovered. Nigerians have been suffering massively under the APC government. And it's become clear and clear every day that the APC government is the most corrupt government, very corrupt. They spend billions and billions of dollars on NNPC refinery, and it's not working. And they've not accounted for it because they succeeded in putting themselves in power. After the failure of APC under Buhari regime, they succeed again in manipulating the system and putting themselves in power to remain there so they can cover the atrocities of the massive looting of our treasury. The question is, will Nigeria continue like this? Nigeria has not recovered from the bad leadership of the Buhari government. And here we are celebrating. So universities, they want to name universities. It's sad. It's sad. A country where there's no consequences for bad governance. They look as if the presidents of Nigeria are immune from investigation. They don't investigate. Once they are president, once you get to the level of president, you are free to steal as you like. Because the presidents, maybe that's an unwritten rule they have among themselves. The president of Nigeria is always immune. That's the man of integrity. The man of integrity that used 21 billion to fix a refinery, and the refinery is not working. The question you ask yourself is, what is the money if you want to build a new refinery? So the refinery right now is a means of looting the treasury of Nigeria. Those who want to steal, they use the refinery as a conduit pipe to loot our treasury. I know the irony of it all, nothing is done about it. Now the same mismanagement is on as we are talking now. Billions and billions have been looted from the treasury, from the federation account and the rest, and nothing is done about it. People are free. You have a Senate who is supposed to carry out an oversight. They are not doing their job. Because we have a National Assembly that happens to be a rubber stamp National Assembly, a puppet of the executive. So there's actually no oversight over the executive. The executive is free to do what they like. Because the Senate that is supposed to monitor the executive, the Senate himself is dead. The Senate is dead. The Senate under the current Senate president is more of a rubber stamp Senate. It's a carry-go Senate. Baba carry-go Senate. No oversight, nothing. So the executive is free to do whatever he likes. And as long as you have a democracy where the executive is free to do as he like, they will collapse the country. If something is not done to check the level of corruption under the APC leadership since 2015 that they came into power, the APC will destroy Nigeria. Nothing good will come from Nigeria as long as APC remains in power. Nothing good will ever come. Because the level of corruption under the APC government is amazing. Massive corruption from everywhere, lies from everywhere. You remember the rice pyramid, which was fake? The anchor borrowers borrow something which was fake, or just a way of siphoning money to the Fulani farmers and farmers in the north. Nothing came out of it. Bad governance, bad leadership. So the question you ask yourself is, how long are we going to continue to live like this? This Renew Hope came, and the only way the Renew Hope can succeed is to block these leakages, to investigate what happened to the money. Instead of giving Buhari title, giving him this, trying to sing his praise, let's find out what he did with the 21 billion. How come the refineries are not working? After they promised us again and again that the refinery will work, after they used 21 billion, which they looted and put in their private account around the world. And today we are here celebrating them, naming university after them. But how long are we going to continue like this? The system is collapsing. The people are getting angrier every day because of the level of corruption. The APC government is a house of corruption. The APC government is the most corrupt government since 2015. It seems to be the most corrupt government in the history of Nigeria. How long are we going to continue? It's the question I keep asking again and again. How long are we going to continue like this? Are we going to continue with this level of looting the treasury? The more they loot, the more Nigerians are suffering. The reason why we are concerned is because the looting of the APC right now will definitely destroy the future of the youth tomorrow. They are destroying the future of the youth. Nigeria's youth does not have future anymore. That's why they are involved in drugs. They are involved in drugs because they know that their future have been destroyed, eaten by corrupt men, liars in government who behave as if they are not rescuing anything. They are destroying the country. Keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. The last government borrowed and borrowed and borrowed and borrowed Nigeria dry, and this government has continued to borrow again. We didn't know what they did with the last borrowing, but the borrowing is still on. Nothing to show for the borrowing. That's the sad part of the system we are facing. We borrow, no accountability. There is no checkmate. The National Assembly that is supposed to act like a check to democracy, to the executive. The National Assembly is silent because it's a rubber stamp assembly. It's a carry-go assembly. The last Senate we were taking was Ahmed Lawa's Senate. We were taking is the worst in the history of Nigeria. That's what we were thinking. Until now, we have another one again that we don't know how to describe this one. The last time we have what looks like a real Senate was when Bukola Saraki was the Senate president. That's when it looks as if we have a Senate that was in existence. But today, we don't know what we have. We don't know what to call it. We don't know what to call this Senate. It's so painful and sad, but is this how Nigeria will continue? Everybody is just eating and grabbing and running away, eating and eating and eating and eating. Because the leaders seems not to have confidence in Nigeria anymore. Everybody that comes in there just wants to take his own turn, eat his own and leave. Because there's no accountability. No accountability. Nobody's accounting for anything. Buhari has finished his own. Buhari has gone. Now they are singing his praise. What did he do with the 21 billion naira of NNPC? The NNPC is not working. Let's ask them. Let them investigate. Let them audit. Let them check it. Bring auditors. Let them investigate it. These are the areas we expect EFCC and ICPC, what do they call them, to investigate, not running after Yahoo boys. This is what is destroying our economy, not Yahoo boys. This is what has pushed Nigerian youth into Yahoo. Today I saw a ritual of a girl in Edo State that was dropped from a car. They pushed her out of the car naked. They drove away. I saw the video. The girl was just walking everywhere naked, completely naked. Definitely the Yahoo boys have used her for one thing or the other. This is the Nigeria we have today, where the youth have resorted to taking of drugs to be able to pass away their frustration from bad leadership. At times, if you read what happens in the Nigerian paper and the rest, you will get angry. If you don't want to listen to the papers, because the papers have bad news to tell you. In the midst of crisis, midst of suffering of Nigerians, you keep seeing the paper of how much they stole. You keep, if you want to have a Saturday, then read Nigerian early morning newspaper. Read Nigerian paper. It's all about how they mismanage our economy. And because the youth don't have the guts to fight for their nation, they resorted to drugs. So the youth think that taking of drugs is the best way out. Instead of confronting these satanic politicians that are destroying our country, looting our treasury, and taking the money abroad. They don't want to confront them. They don't have the liver to confront them. They don't have the guts to confront them. So what do? They take drugs instead. And that's what gives rise to the increase in drugs because of bad leadership from the government. And the government is satisfied with it that they are taking drugs because at the end of the day, they will be destroyed by the intake of drugs and bad governance will continue. We don't know how long this will last, but it's very shameful. Please, I want you to subscribe to BHF Movie on YouTube. BHF Movie on YouTube, where we begin to deal with issues that have to do with the youths across the world. Please make it go viral, share, like, comment. Thank you for those who are with us live now, and thank you for the comments. It's sad. Like I said, there's a tremendous increase in the intake of drugs. And upon investigation, we find out that the youth of Nigeria are frustrated because of the bad leadership. The bad leadership that was on from 1999 that it became worse in 2014, 2015. And because of the bad leadership, the youths are now on continuous intake of drugs, continuous intake. But the question is that, is the intake of drugs going to help the youths? No. 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 We are destroying our youths. The government is destroying the nation and the youths is destroying themselves. Out of frustration, Nigerian youths are now taking drugs because of frustration of bad government, bad governance. Welcome to this edition of Time Out with Hello David. Please drop your comment, subscribe to BHF, and also subscribe to BHF Movies. We have wonderful movies on this channel. It's a huge channel. Subscribe and also share. Make it go viral so that we can, because we are talking to youths around Nigeria. So I can see how we can begin to advise and bring back our youth, because our youth are frustrated because of the politicians. If you check it, the intake of drugs was not like this before. The intake of drugs became worse from 2020 when APC came to power. It was when APC came to power that Nigerian youth began to take massive drugs because they destroyed the economy completely. Just they've destroyed the nation. The APC government have destroyed the nation, and it's quite unfortunate. Until we meet again tomorrow, Time Out with Hello David. Please take good care of yourself. Get ready for the next election. There's no sentiment. Vote out I know people say they won't vote because their vote does not count. It's those that vote, those that count the votes that count. But I'll still advise the youth to keep on trying, and one day they will succeed to remove bad governance from power, so we can have a government that can change Nigeria. This is what we have today right now are old thieves. They are old corrupt politicians. Corruption is in their blood. They cannot stop corruption. No matter how they try, they are used to it. Anywhere they see money, they thief. You can't stop them from stealing. It's in their DNA. Corruption is the DNA of the politician. When you look at all their faces, the politician we have today is the same. Some of them have been there since 1999, looting and looting. They loot their state and loot their state. Right now they're in a federal level where there's room for bigger looting. This group of people have been there for a very long time. They have nothing to offer. All what they say is lies. When they tell you anything, don't believe it. They are all liars. They are just looters of the treasury. They loot their state, now they want to loot federal. But the good thing is that they will not, all the money they are stealing, they will not take it anywhere. One day they will die also. Everybody will die one day. And they will leave behind all the money they've stolen, the land and properties they have acquired everywhere around Nigeria, around everywhere in the world. Keep buying properties. One day they will die and leave the property. They will not bury them in two properties. They will bury them in one property. Because they can't sleep in two beds. They can't bury them in two in two houses, one house. So they don't get any future for anybody. They don't have future for Nigeria. They don't have plans for Nigerian future. They don't have plans for Nigerian youths. They are looters of Nigerian treasury. No matter what they say, what they try to say, try to behave, they can't change. It's in their DNA to loot. They cannot change, never change. They can never change. Looting is part of their culture. It's their lifestyle. It's their hobby. It's in their DNA. That is, they breed corruption. They live corruption, they breed corruption. At the end of the day, when they leave, they try as much as possible to put their successor in power so that they can begin to sing their praises. People that have done nothing, completely nothing. We want their praises to be sung. You see what happened when over the Buhari issue, trying to sing the praises of Buhari and the rest. And the question we want to ask today is what happened to the $21 billion that was used to fix the NNPC? Because the NNPC is not working. It's not working. Till now, it's not working. Please, what happened to the NNPC? They say it will work, it will work, it will work. The money they used to fix NNPC, we want to see it. Where is it? Who fixed it? Who did they give the money to? Because at the moment, the NNPC is not working. It's unfortunate. I pity Nigeria. May God have mercy on the youth of this country. Have a wonderful day.